What's up, y'all? This is the Runners Club podcast. I'm your co-host, Courtney Phillips.
Yo, what's good? This is Ian Gonzalez. How y'all feeling?
And you know what I mean? We're back with another one, and we have a guest, of course. And we're going to keep this intro real cute, real sweet and cute. How you feeling, Ian?
I'm good. I did an amazing track workout this morning with both my bays, my boo and my RCA bae. Shout out to Rosalie. It was amazing.
Nice.
Workout provided by her. Denise was there. Christine is like killing it. Like Christine is moving. I mean, she's doing such an amazing job. But like, it was a really good, like, I'm enjoying doing track workouts with a group. But yeah, it feels really good.
Yeah. I actually just got done with a run around Washington Park with Remy, and that also was really good.
I know. I want to hear more about it. I want to see how you felt and stuff like that. We're going to have to talk after.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's take a quick break and bring in our guest. All right, we're back, and we have Quinton Jacobs. And I'm going to let you introduce yourself because I just don't even know where to start.
Don't even know.
It's the Toronto.
Welcome
right
in.
here,
yeah, welcome in. Right, exactly. I feel like Ian's got all the pseudonyms. He's got all the situations. It's the escape to Chicago, all the things, you know?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm just a dude who loves community. And I love bringing people together. And I love the magic that comes from what happens when you get good people together. And honestly, that's it.
Yeah. And it truly shows through your work. Like, I mean, both the escape to New York, the escape to Chicago, not being just focused on the amazing feat of running to both cities from Canada, from Toronto. But that kind of being like in the background to the philanthropic parts of it has been awesome. But like, and I can't wait to hear a lot about that. But, you know, we got to start at the beginning. We have to understand like why it is you run. Who are you? Who is Quinton as a runner? Quinton Jacobs.
Hey man, listen, I started running when I had kids, and my oldest is turning 18 this year. So 18 years ago, became a father, just trying to dodge the dad bod, you know, and also as a dad, I found a tremendous amount of grounding when I went out for a run. Because in the house, I'm a husband, and I'm in the house, I'm a dad, and I'm all these other things. But when I go out for a run, it seemed like the one place when I was cute. Right? You couldn't catch me, so I'm out, and I was the most me when I was running, and I think I leaned into that feeling, and I just held on to it. And I mean, that's where it started. And then it was just a journey, like not unlike most people's running journeys. You know, it was
right.
It was whatever it needed to be at the moment. At times it was a place to kind of unwind and be grounded. At times it was a place to challenge myself and try, do I still got it? Can I be an athlete? Can I qualify for Boston? And then at times it was a space just for my mental health. And then it was a place, running was a thing where I could actually go and venture into community with this thing called running. It no longer was even about me and what I could do physically or mentally. It was like, what can this thing do for me and all the people around me?
And you're based in I was going to say Chicago, in Toronto, right?
Toronto, yeah. So I live just a little bit north. Born in Scarborough.
Okay.
Scarborough is like our south side of Chicago.
Oh, okay. Okay. Educate us. Yes, let us know.
So I grew up in Scarborough. I grew up in subsidized housing. I grew up not having a lot, single parent family. But now I live just north of the city, a little town called Woodbridge, but I work in the city. So I actually have a real job. I have a job in the nuclear industry.
Which is crazy when I found that out. Like, bruh.
I'll tell you, man, I'm not particularly passionate about it. It's your kids got to eat, right? My kids got to eat. Not every day, but they got to eat. And so so I have that, but then it's one of those things where because I'm not particularly passionate about that, it's like once I step out, I can just lean into the things that fill me up.
Just flip that switch.
Yeah, and authentically, because if I feel like a lot of times I think, and we talk about this with the crew a lot, like if I did this kind of stuff for a career, would I be able to arrive at it from the same authentic place, right? If that was paying the bills, right, it might change the way I approach it. But I literally am walking into a space, I'm like, dude, I don't need this. I'm here because I want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then, so with your running journey, so did you start running in like high school, college? Like, when did you start running?
Oh, I hated it. I remember doing track and field. My mom put me in track and field, and I sucked so bad.
I feel like that's a common story.
Yeah, I was wearing cargo pants, and they put me in a field, and there were hundreds of kids, and then they gave me a ribbon, and I came in like in the 100. Like when you're a kid, and someone tells you you came in like 150th or something, like,
yeah,
that's brutal. Like I was just like, why do people do this? I hated it. And it wasn't until much later in life that, that I took on the running, mainly because it was flexible.
Yeah, I guess my follow-up question to that is like, why did you go back to it, and then what made you come back after that?
Because like I played soccer for a bit, and it's like soccer is just like game time's game time. So if you have a family and you got a birthday party and you got a game, one of those things not happening. So running was this thing that I could go out and I could do it, and I could squish it in wherever it kind of fit in the family. I could wake up early. I'm an early riser, so it's like I could get up early and the kids weren't even up yet.
Yeah, that's what Ian does.
Yeah, you're early too?
Yeah. Especially when I'm training, like I have to get up. Why sometimes I tell my 16-year-old to go lay in the bed with the 4-year-old so he know there's a warm body there and that way he won't move. And I can go do a 2-3 hour run. I can go do a track workout, because trying to get it in the evening when they looking at me to make dinner is crazy.
I'm done.
It's wild.
Afternoon, I'm done.
Yeah.
And so I was married at a period of time, so I would just dip out before the family was up. And then I went through a divorce. And my kids were still young. So there was this really tough period where I couldn't go out because they were too young to leave home. Right. And then once they got they got old enough to be home. They're sleeping anyway, but still you just didn't feel right. But when they got, what's that?
I said, of course.
Yeah. But then I remember there was a sweet spot where like they were old enough to be home sleeping. And if they got up, they wouldn't freak out. And I had this little laminated sheet that said, Daddy's gone for a run. I'll be back at. And this is my route. And then I had like a little erasable marker, and I just put the time, put the route, and they were old enough that if anything popped off, they had this thing they could say, "This is where my dad ran."
Yeah.
Nothing popped off, but
but that's good. It's security.
Yeah. It's the peace of mind, and that's a really dope ass idea. Like I love that. I wish I would have thought of that. I'd just be like, hope they hear when I get back.
Right.
I was laminating, so you never done.
So you was never a stroller dad? You never pushed your stroller on your runs?
What do you mean? Like stroller? Like, nah, I tried. I think the one that I had, it was heavy. It was like pushing a Honda Civic.
I got one. All right, but I've done my long runs in that joint, bro. Like the first time I tried it, I was like ill, and then I didn't do it the rest of the summer. And I came back the following summer, and I just figured it out. Like you just gotta like fucking get your posture together, like straight back, and just go and just understand like one of your arms ain't swinging, and you just go. And once you just do it, it just happens, man.
You make it look cool, man.
Really
when
good.
I saw it, I was like, yo, I secretly wanted to try to put my kids back. They're 18 now, but like, so I was like, just do it for dad. Like,
oh my God.
I couldn't afford them the jogger joints with the third wheel in the front. So I got somebody asked me, I was like, yeah, bro, I'm pushing a Cadillac. Like that's what I got.
That's good, man. The kids love it too, right? Kids love it.
Best sleep August has ever gotten.
That's it, man. So yeah, I mean, that was it. I really took to it because of the flexibility. And then I said, it was just a journey, right? It was really just a journey. Like I really got into the athletic part because I was a younger dad. So I was like, first thing was like, hey, let me try to do 10K. And it was the half, and then it was the full. It was Boston.
Right.
How many races have you done now? That like the major ones you can think about.
Like, I mean, I've done over 15 marathons. I've done Chicago a bunch of times. I've done Boston.
That boy a runner.
You just around.
I've done a lot of running.
How many times you done Boston?
Just once.
Okay.
The funny thing with Boston was I actually qualified the month before I went through my separation. So I wasn't able to train for it. I'd made it. But by the time Boston came around in April, I hadn't even trained because I was in and out of court and all this. So I wasn't even going to go.
Right.
So I just went the once, just got the experience. I got unfinished business there for sure.
That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
I'll go back.
Then you go out there and tackle that real good.
Yeah. And I was there this year, and then you get it in your system. I was there with Aaron was out there, and Nick was out there. Austin was out there. We were cheering. Yeah. It's very hard to be that close to the Boston Marathon and not be in it. It hurts me physically.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So, I mean, I know you're saying running is not your career. It's not your livelihood. But it's from my point of view, my perspective, there is a business element to it. In the sense that you putting together these runs, these races, you partnering with these brands. I guess my question is what I haven't been able to figure out while going through your IG or just knowing you over these last couple of years. It's like, is this like a run crew? Like, is it a 7 on Sundays in Toronto? Is it a gumbo out there? Like, what is the organization situation? Like, what's going on? Like, who am I shouting out when I'm shouting you out, bro?
Right.
Factually, it's been evolving. So like, that's a fair question. And actually, I think in this next year, it'll be a lot clearer because we were literally when we did Escape to New York, it was literally me and my buddy just thinking, let's just do some wild and crazy shit. and let's see what we could do. Like we see Speed Project. We see there's a guy here doing a run in Montreal, and we were like, let's just do this wild and crazy shit. And so we did it. Then when we did it, we had all these people hitting us up saying, yo, we want to run the next one. What's the next? But we had already in our minds been like, we did New York. Like, let's flip it. Like, we've got this, we can write our own story. So why are you going to do the same thing over and over again? And I love Chicago. I love Chicago. It's got a place in my heart. So right out the gates, I was tabling that. I'm like, yo, let's run to Chicago. And so what happens is now, like, you're meeting new people, right? And certain people are bubbling to the surface is kind of being cut from the same cloth. They're like just like superheroes to me. They're inspiring, really inspiring people. And this thing that was just a stupid idea becomes almost like a magnet for a certain kind of energy. And we've just been like just evolving with it. Now we've gotten to a point last year after Chicago.
You got what?
We got to a point after Chicago, after Escape to Chicago last year, where we actually paused and reflect on what we had accomplished. And we started to now, literally this morning and over the last several weeks, sit down and piece together more structure in a more intentional way of who, like you said, who is this? But to answer your question, I run with Parkdale Road Runners in Toronto. That's like my homegrown crew. It's one of the big run crews, one of the OG run crews.
Love it.
There's a lot of run programs that I'm a youth kind of program coordinator with, like Kickback and start to finish. So there's those that overlap. And then Escape, that crew is kind of just evolved into its own little thing now. And it's just a bunch of friends that just like doing wild and crazy stuff. And also giving back. Like, what we've done this year is we've separated. So we used to be just like, everyone would just say it's Escape, like you.
Yeah.
Escape. And then, but we were doing a lot of community work. So now we created our not-for-profit Ubuntu. And so Ubuntu is that's the blanket that's mostly the same cats anyway. But when we're under Ubuntu, that's like the charitable component. And what that does is it allows Escape to kind of be its own thing. Because Escape's got its own potential. It's got its own growth trajectory. So now we've kind of done that. And so you be
I love
healing
that.
me up. You're healing up Escape. You're healing up Ubuntu. You know what I mean? You're healing
I
up
love it
all the
because it's
people.
like it's giving me that joint on Instagram with that comedian. I think it's Carlos something, but he was like, all you need is three bad motherfuckers and you take over the whole planet.
And
That's all you really need.
I have 6.
I love it. I love it. World domination coming out of Toronto. I love it.
Yeah,
but man, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And then I was seeing, I saw a post on your IG because I thought you was gonna say it was the Fewer Roads.
Yeah, Fewer Roads. Yeah, another group. Yeah. So same 2 dudes. So Anoke and Dre, both who are part of that Escape crew. You know, last year while we were going through the pandemic, we acknowledged that there was a need for a space that sort of opened up and changed the narrative for Black and brown people in trails, like outside of the city. I love running trails. Dre loves running trails, and Nope as well. And obviously it's very difficult to coordinate through the pandemic, but we just kept it on ice. And we're just like, when the time is right, we're going to do it. And so we just did it. The second we were allowed to have 10 people, we did 10 people. The second we were allowed to have 25, we had 25. We capped it at 50, we had, you know what I mean? Like, even when we capped it at 25, we had 50. So
so they know where to find you. That's something that we realize. It doesn't matter if you put a cap on it. If people know where to find you, they're going to show up.
And it's the way we kind of pegged it too, because a lot of people that were registering and signing up weren't runners, and they were nervous as hell.
Yeah.
And they sign up because they saw something cool on the gram, and then they try to unsign up because they're like, I got to do a trail run on the weekend.
Yeah, excuse me. Right.
And we let them know, like, listen, that's the point of this.
Yeah.
This is an entry point. This is not a run, it's a vibe. Like, come and vibe with us. And we just so happen we'll be in the trails. And in that space, there's so much area for us to grow as a unit, right? There's beginners, there's people that you start talking that are up at the front of the pack that are asking all these questions, and we can grow however we want. But yeah, Fewer Roads has just been a really beautiful, once a month, Black and brown people connect, and we go to a different trail all over, anywhere out of the city. And we just vibe out in nature.
Love it.
I love it. I think we've all of us have gotten into more trails, even in Chicago. I know for me, like training for the 50K last year, that like was my first intro into real training on trail.
Yeah.
Repetitively, weekly. Like it changes your perspective of running, your relationship with your body, just like being in nature more. It's different than running on the lakefront, obviously.
So different. And like one of the things that I love even at a high level about trail running is that on a road, you could zone out. Like you know, when you're driving and you go like 3 blocks and you're like, how the hell did you forget that you drove 3 blocks? It's not even safe, but you're like,
just autopilot.
You can autopilot.
Yeah.
In trails, you can't. I mean, you need to know where each foot's going, because each foot's got to be intentionally put down. It happens quickly. You get good at it, especially if you're doing ultras. Bless you.
Yeah.
But there's something hyper present about running in nature just by that alone.
Yeah.
You need to be present. You don't get to zone out, because if you zone out, you're going to hit a tree or trip on a rock or a root.
Or go the wrong way.
Go the wrong way.
Yeah.
And it actually takes more energy to be on all the time, but it's that element of just being hyper present. Each step being hyper present is really
that mindfulness is real.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been good. And how far do you have to go, like out of the city to find a trail?
30 minutes.
30 minutes on it, because you're going early in the morning anyway, so it's a quick cut through out to the west side or like far south side. There's really beautiful forest preserves out there, really well kept. Trails are really nice. There's bike trails that you can run on.
I was hoping, because this is old train line in Inglewood that they're turning into a running trail. I was really hoping that they would make that an urban trail situation. Like, I think one of the runners dropped it in a group chat, and I was like, that would be so dope if we had like a legit, like not too technical, but like a nice little urban trail situation. Because that line, of course, has been out of use for like decades. And so there's
Mm-hmm.
there's growth, there's rocks, there's all this stuff that would have made that so beautiful for the city.
Can you go now? Yeah. Like, could you go there?
I don't think it's open just yet. I think it might be opening in the fall or next summer, but I know it's coming. It's a nice, decent route. I think it might be anywhere between 3 to 6 miles.
Right.
It's like this. I don't know if you're familiar with the 606, but it sounds like the 606 for the South Side, Ian, in a way, where it's like out and back 3 miles.
Yeah. It's probably gonna give that kind of vibe and stuff, because I think they might do pave too.
Yeah.
They might pave it.
Yeah, well, and few roads. Our longer or farther reach. Once a month, we get together. We do a trail run. We've got our next one in Hamilton on Saturday. This coming Saturday. And the farther reach for that is we'd love to do every year, just at the end of the year, do like a retreat. It'd take people out for like a weekend.
Yeah.
And really lean into the elements.
Yeah.
So
I really align with that. And how far out do you need to go from Toronto to get to some of these trails?
It's similar. Like we sometimes it could be as small as like a 30-minute drive or an hour, like even an hour will get you farther. It's not too bad. One of the things we're trying to do now too is one of the issues is access. Like, I mean, our goal is to sort of chip away at the barriers that prevent Black and brown people from getting to trails. And one of them right now is just like, do you have a car? Like, you live in a city. So we've been doing pretty good as a small unit, carpooling and sharing.
Right. And you can do that now again, because I know for us, we were doing races out on trails, and we're like, how are people going to come because they can't carpool during COVID?
Right.
So at least there's that. You're able to do that again.
It's helping. But our last one that we did, I had to send out an email that hurt my heart, because I was saying, listen, you've registered, but these 10 people, we weren't able to coordinate rides. And so some of the people that are reaching out, like sponsors and whatnot, were like, listen, hold on the shoes right now. What we need is, once a month a bus.
Yeah.
Right? Not a big ask, but
some type of shuttle.
It'd be nice. Like, if not a Sprinter, a bus would be perfect, because then you could just say, here, there's 3 pickup spots, get to the pickup spots. We come through. And then actually, what I love is that hour that you're taking to go to the trails, or the hour you're taking to come back, that's connection as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what the community is built.
You got the snacks, you got the songs, you got the music, you got, there's so much more you can get out of this experience now, because now everyone's on the bus.
Right.
Yeah, it's super communal.
So we're working towards it. I mean, we've only done, I think, 4 now. So it's just a thing that's growing on the side, another project that we're just passionate about. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I love it.
I feel like you're really good at putting together projects. I see that you do a lot of public speaking, and like you're really engaged in the community. And I kind of want to take it back to the Escape project. I don't know if you mind, because I'm like, someone doesn't know, because when I was asking Aaron about it, because we had him on as a guest, and we were really excited to hear about his experience, just because, being from Chicago, going to Toronto and all that. But then I also listened to your podcast on the long run.
Oh, long run.
Yeah. And it was interesting to hear your like behind the scenes curation process of that. And so for anyone who doesn't know what Escape to Chicago is, can you just like give a rundown just so they have a better understanding?
Totally, man. I mean, it's not unlike other ultra relays in that, we collectively as a team run nonstop from Toronto, in this case, to Chicago. And so that means we take off at a certain time in Toronto. We break that route down into about 10K segments. Some of them are 8K, some of them are 16K. Sorry, that's like 6 miles to 10-mile segments.
It's okay. We got 10Ks out here. You know what I mean? We understand kilometers just because we run. Beforehand, it would have been over our heads. We're going to
put a disclaimer at the front. Pull out your converters.
Put like subtitles. What this fool talking about? We map out the route from here to Chicago. We break it into chunks. We try to, for logistics purpose, make those transition areas somewhere where an RV could park, right? So that's where the route might go bigger or less than 10K, because instead of parking on the side of the road, you park in a Walmart parking lot, that kind of thing. And literally one runner starts running, does one leg, the RV goes to the next transition area, and the next runner gets ready, and the runner comes in, tags that next runner, and it continues like that for over 850 kilometers, so over 650 miles, nonstop. It's 2 in the morning,
How
2
many
in the
days?
afternoon. So it took us 3 days and 3 nights.
Okay.
And
that's wild.
That's not I mean, that's an extent. That's like that's a ultra relay.
Yeah. But here's the thing. We lean into the distance, right? And less into the speed, because part of escape is how can we use this event to inspire more people, to bring more people involved and make them feel like they can be a part of this, right? You look at some of the other ultra relays, they're very ego driven. It's really about what your team can do and how badass your team is. And that's dope. But it's unrelatable to a lot of people. And you guys with Limbo or 7 on Sundays know that you have people that are just coming in and they can't even relate to something like a 50K trail run. Like that's not even, they don't even know what that means. That's Mandarin.
Right.
And so escape is like, what we try to do is we try to consider everyone. And so part of that means instead of just loading up the teams with your baddest runners, friends, it's like, who are the spirits that you can put in this? Not necessarily the best runners, but like, hey, who can you tolerate on an RV for 3 days and 3 nights? But also, who are these superheroes in their own respective communities and what they represent in their own respective communities? Put them in regardless of their running ability, because collectively, we're going to figure it out, right? And so what that means is you've got OG runners as a part of this who've done Escape to New York and maybe have done Speed Project and some of these other projects. But you've also got a guy like Kofi Hughes who used to play in the NFL, but is not a distance runner by any means.
Right. Straight up and down.
Or you get the coach, one of the coaches, Lindsay from the 504th in New Orleans, who is like, yo, this is ambitious. It's a lot of kilometers. And we're like, nah, collectively, we got this. And so
for sure,
that makes it a lot more connectable for people, because people can be like, yo, I know Lindsay, or I know Kofi. He's not a distance runner, but there he is battling the elements. And when you actually break down the distance, to be honest, the running, it's not the hardest part, right? 3 days and 3 nights.
That's it right there.
How your body functions with not a lot of sleep, with a lot of agitation. And then also, when you map out routes this long, they're not guaranteed. Like there's problem solving that happens. People get injured. Now you got to switch up the order. And now there's a roadblock. Now there's this or that. So all of these things are actually the most exciting part, because
it's an adventure.
It's the adventure.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you hit it, Courtney. It's the adventure.
And but the thing I'm also curious about is like, I don't feel like anyone can just pull up. You have to be invited, because it's like your crew, because it's not like a speed project. It's not like a HTC. Y'all is exclusive. And so it's like, how can I participate? And when is that going to happen?
When he first came to me, Aaron was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, like this is amazing. We would love to be a part of it. He was like,
no,
nah.
This ain't for you. I was invited. I'm like,
he was like, nah, I'm kind of just doing this with my friends. It's like, oh shit.
And that's because, and I'll tell you, and it's evolving. I'll tell you this. Let me give you a hint. It's evolving. Yeah. And if our goal and our intention is to share this energy with more people, then I'll just leave it at that. It makes sense that it evolves into a space where more people can access it.
But you know what? Like, I at the same time, like, I'm being funny about it, but like, I completely understand the reasoning. You know what I'm saying? Because it is such an intimate process and stuff like that. And I completely respect it and don't necessarily see a need for change. But if it does, it would be fucking awesome.
No, but it will always have the element. It will always have the element of care around the energy in the project. And so what that means is, I got some badass runner friends. I could have easily built New York and Chicago around the dopest, baddest runners. But if you watch those unfold, It'd be boring as hell. I promise you. It'd be boring as hell.
It's not a story.
And I'm not going to call out names. And I love Speed Project, but like I watched some teams and it was badass running. I get
it's
it.
Like, you're fast.
Cool.
Congratulations.
It's like ego, right? But ego is so personal. It's such an individual or a team thing. And what you saw was in some of those events is it looks like it's a community thing, but once that gun goes off, you're right back in an RV with the same people you run with back home, and that's all you see. There's no cross-pollination. There's no groups meeting other groups. Once the gun goes off, it's you, your team, your ego, and a finish line.
Right.
And that's exactly the opposite of what we want to do. And so what we'll do is if we do open it up to more people, there will always be an element that forces groups to mingle, to community to grow, for people to be exposed, to not have the control to say, oh, these are my 6 runners. We know how we run. We got a plan. To be like, oh, you're a part of this. And part of this means you need to learn how to work with these other people, because that social kind of interaction is what brings real growth. You know what I mean? Real inspiration is watching these people. And so the other thing I'll say too, Courtney, is like the people that are even on the radar are people who show up in their own communities. And I reached out to Ian and Aaron because I thought, I'm like, oh boy, we got to come into Chicago through the South Side. And I'm responsible for the safety. And I'm like, I got a problem. But then as I'm doing some research and I find out, actually, it was Tim Rossi who put me on to you guys. It was Tim Rossi. And I was sitting there on the day the pandemic happened. We were in Chicago doing some scouting. And I told him, I said, like, I'm struggling right now with the South Side. Like, what's the route? Like, how do I get through there? And he told me about 7 on Sundays. And when I looked you guys up and actually peeled back some layers, I was like, this is it. And I showed it to the squad. I'm like, this is our vibe. These guys are changing the narrative of an area of Chicago using running and community and vibes. Man, we fell in love with you before we even reached out. So it was natural. I might have been playing hard to get, but secretly when I reached out, I was like, if they want in, they're in. But I had to make it look. I didn't want to look too easy.
Yeah, you know what? Listen, we would have took you out to dinner. He told you it was pretty, whatever we needed to do.
No, it was a natural thing.
But I appreciate that. I appreciate that because it's like, you know, there is the stigma to the South Side and stuff like that. But, you know, there are so many beautiful neighborhoods to run through. There's so many beautiful avenues and boulevards that you can glide through without any major issues. Like, man, I love my people. I mean, you know, to be a little bit not politically correct here, like, you know, we run through quote unquote these rough neighborhoods and stuff like that. And some of our best cheerleaders been the cats on the block early in the morning getting money. You know what I'm saying? The hypes who then got theirs that morning. So they on the bus stop feeling good, you know? So it's like they see that and they respect that. Like they know, you know what I'm saying? They know what we out there doing. They understand what we doing. They understand we not on the same time that they on, and they respect that. You know, it's like like the kind of like stereotype. It's like the stereotype of the old adage, like, you know, in every like above the rim, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, that's the hooper. That's he going to the league. Don't mess with him. He's not going to be in the streets. He's not doing this, that, and the third. And it's kind of like that same kind of feeling when we running through these communities. It's just like, there go these niggas with these high shorts. You know what I'm saying? Like, out here doing this white boy shit, you know?
Yeah. And then you know what's funny? And we dipped into Chicago a couple of weeks ago for a concert, and I surprised Aaron there. I missed you. I was hoping to surprise you too, but it's felt. And then you see that curiosity, right? It's, to me, everything's exposure. Even the work I do with kids, first step, exposure, right? Because for a lot of people in those areas, they haven't seen someone that looks like them running through the streets with short sat short. And then the next thing you know, it's like, hey, wait, maybe I should try. And I was there, and there were cats that were part of that crew that, you know, I listened to the stories. I was talking with a bunch of them, and like they were on the block before they were running with 7 on Sundays. And that evolution one at a time, man. One at a time. You're changing an entire neighborhood, an entire stigma, one at a time. And that's beautiful, man. So that, when you say, Courtney, you know, like how do people get involved? It's less about your personal accreditations. It's less about your PBs and your, you know, your Boston qualifying times and all this stuff. And it's more about like how you show up in your community, because that when people now, your people in your community watch what you're up to. And when 7 on Sundays, people are like, what the hell did Aaron get himself into now? He's running on this thing on the, you know, and then they get to be a part of it. Like then we roll up there and they get to run to the finish line with Aaron. Like that's what we want for this thing. That's the potential and the impact that we see this particular event has over building up our own personal egos and like, look what we did, look where we ran. It's like, who can we bring with us?
For sure. And you also did a documentary on this process, right? So like, how did that unfold?
Yeah. So CLA, the hat company, they're from Canada.
Say that again.
CLA. How do you say
CLA.
that?
Is that how you
No one knows how to say it.
Nobody knows. Nobody.
CLA.
CLA. CLA. It's a CLA.
Okay.
Say it how you want, man. You make it fancy if you want.
Because people be saying CL.
That's silly to me, man.
Yeah, silly. Yeah.
Silly.
I said CLA. Yeah, no, it's like Target. You say Target, people are like, oh, damn. You shot me.
It's that French influence in up there in Canada.
Yeah, no, they're dope. I mean, they're everywhere. They're in all kinds of running pockets, and we've loved them. They were supportive from New York right in the beginning when we did Escape to New York. Mm-hmm. And what was interesting about New York was we had nothing to show for our idea. We said we're doing Escape to New York, but we had never done that before. We had no merit, no
concept was not proven,
no experience. So anybody who took a chance on us from those days had a special place in our heart because we believed it, but they had no reason to believe it. And so they were a part of that. So when we came back and said, we're going to do Chicago, and we had already proven how we could pull off New York, they said that they were doing a series of documentaries and they wanted to feature ours as one. And so we were able to go back to Jason's one of our guys anyway. He's our videographer, our in-house family. Mm-hmm. And so that's how it kind of unfolded where CLA was able to help produce a documentary, and Jason and Justin and their production company Tenfold was able to. They were on the RV, not sleeping, eating noodles, just like us.
Right.
And they shot the documentary. And then what I did was I went back, kind of as a gift to Jason, because he's been shooting stuff for me 2 years ago just for fun, like just because he wanted to get into videos, and he was out in the community shooting stuff for free. And so we were like, you know what? Let's not just let this video come out online first. Let's do an in-person screening. Let's bring the community together. A lot of Escape is these fundraisers that we do leading up to it to raise money for the organizations we support. So let's bring everyone out. And so we did that on May 5th. We got one more screening next week, Wednesday. And then after that, the film will be released to the public via CLA or Chele or Cell or Seal. It'll be released on there online.
We might need to get a theater out here real quick. You know, let's see if AMC's still doing that. Rent a theater out for $100. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I would do Harper Theater out here in Hyde Park. That would be my choice.
And we talked about it. I mean, it'll be available online, but sometimes just bringing people together and having them sit down and focused and, you know, so like that's how the doc came about. The funny thing is Jason was going to shoot it anyway. I mean, he just loves what we do. He gets what we do.
Yeah, you have to document it.
Yeah. And he's about storytelling, but also he knows because he's a part of all of the charitable stuff we do anyway.
Yeah.
So if he's not wearing an apron and serving food, he's taking photos and taking videos. And his growth has been in parallel with ours. So having CLA jump on was really just an added bonus to not only give him some funding, but also give him some like a little bit more breadth in terms of sharing it.
So what did you capture the training and the race, or is it primarily focused on the race?
just the race and also the community. The community. So as I said, like the running wasn't the focus. A lot of these guys knew what they had to do. We told them when they came on board, this is how much running you need to do. But also it wasn't about you need to do this much. It was like, this is about how much running you need to be prepared. But sometimes the best runners underperform because who's to say the guy who can handle the most amount of, or the girl who can handle the most amount of mileage doesn't get injured or doesn't act well under little sleep. Maybe a badass runner, but under your own very controlled.
Yeah, you could be a badass runner when you in tip-top shape. Exactly. 12, 10 hours of sleep, a good breakfast, all of that. But when that pressure applied, everybody's body is different.
I've seen it. And the truth is, like, that actually is more bankable. Your best runners that come in with all of the running credibility often underperform because their running credentials are tied to very strict and controlled environmental and circumstantial characteristics. Then the guy who comes in who's really just a wild out dude but loves to party all night, he's killing it because 10K is nothing to him. Plus, he's used to not sleeping. So he's just like, yo, let's go.
Right.
And that person who was like smashing the runs is like, we'll do 2 or 3 legs. And then they're like, I can't do another one. My body's hurting.
Yeah.
And then the
can't
other
live that
like,
life.
He's just not sleeping. So he's like, I'll take it. Let's go. And then he goes and jumps in.
Yeah.
I was just saying in the group chat the other day that my worst marathon, the marathon that I cramped up at Mount 18 and was struggling to get across that finish line was during a training process where I drank the less. Okay. There was no hangover long runs. I was barely having anything to drink but the other ones, when I was living my life, getting lit, but hitting my workouts and stuff like that, man, race day was not a problem. My body's like, we can handle this.
That's it, man. That's it. So, we didn't.
Not training advice, y'all. That is not training advice.
But also live your life, though.
Into your training plan.
I see that all the time, man. Running should be a part of your life. It should not be your whole life.
Right.
Yes.
That's just
shouldn't have to sacrifice in order to perform a certain way. Like, I mean, it makes sense in some circumstances where maybe you have a goal, but it's like when you're running for a lifetime, you can't do that your entire life.
It's not sustainable.
It's not.
You tighten things up a little bit closer
here and there.
Goals.
Yeah.
But to me, it's boring if you're like squeezing this thing all the time, saying no to fried chicken, all this. It doesn't make sense. Like, what are you living for? Running's cool, but it's not everything.
No.
So the doc didn't really focus on the training. It focused on a lot of the community work that we did leading up to it. Mm-hmm. It focused on these heroes. They're heroes to me, man. These are people that show up in their community and they represent something in their community. So I wanted to kind of share who these people were and sort of what it is about them that makes them inspiring enough to be a part of the project. And then we looked at the race. The other thing that we added to Chicago that was fresh and different from New York was we added these community 10Ks or these community runs. Yeah. Right? We did the 10K to send it off. We did a little run in Detroit, the midway point, and we did a run in Chicago to the finish line. And that was just another way to let people be a part of it. Instead of watching from the outside, come on the inside. Put this escape shirt on. Roll with us. Run with us.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
That was dope for us, man. That was dope. And that was a focus.
Do you have, so you said you're taking kind of a break for a little bit. You're going to release the doc. Is there a plan to come back with another?
I don't know what's that word, break? What's that mean?
I mean, you said what? Maybe it was between New York and Chicago that you said you took a second, but or a breath, but what's next, I guess, for the escape situation?
Yeah. So here's something that we haven't launched yet, but no better place. So here we are.
Ian's lit.
So we're not doing a full-scale escape. There's a lot of planning and a lot of logistics to do something that's 3 days and 3 nights. Safety just is crazy. So this year we're not doing that, but October 16th, there's a new sponsor for our Toronto marathon, the Toronto Waterfront Marathon. It's TCS. These are the same cats. Yeah, they're the same cats who do New York, same cats who do London. They just jumped on as a new sponsor, and we felt like there was no better time to say what's up, to open up the doors to Toronto than that race weekend. So we're doing, two things are happening that weekend. One, we're doing a little Bridge the Gap warm up. So Bridge the Gap is like this is an OG cruise. Like Bridge Runners New York came up with this idea where they would crews would take turns all over the world hosting a race, and all the crews would jump in. So the race would happen, but all the events around it, the shakeout, the pre-run dinner, the post-run party, all of that was hosted by like a resident run crew in the city. And so Parkdale hosted last time, 2015, and we felt like 2022 was a perfect time to do a little tribute to that. So we're doing another Bridge the Gap type thing here on that weekend. And also to kick off the weekend, we said if there's going to be crews coming into the city anyway, let's do a little. Well, here's the thing now. To Courtney's question, we said let's do a little escape pop up, and not for us, for all the crews.
Okay.
So anybody coming in, and we're going to launch this real soon. Anybody coming into Toronto that weekend, the Friday before, we're going to have an escape from Niagara Falls all the way to Toronto. It's 12 hours nonstop. And it's not us. This is open to anybody who's trying to register and wants to be down with that escape vibe. And the purpose is to like mingle up the crews. So you can run with any crew you want. We'll kick it off at midnight at Niagara Falls. What's that?
Is this a pickup ultra relay?
It's a pickup ultra relay. Oh, this is it. This is escape vibe. People asked, like Courtney said, how can we be down? So we said, like let's just open this up. If crews are here anyway, So we're gonna open up the registration probably second week of June.
Okay.
And see who's down. We'll hit up crews, like we'll connect to you guys directly and say, listen, how many people from your crew are probably coming through? And what will look like is that like anybody who wants to run can decide where along this route. It's a gorgeous run from Niagara all the way through. Midnight at Niagara Falls, you don't even have to share the falls with the tourists. It's just you and the falls. And then we run all the way to Toronto, and the finish line would be sort of the kickoff for that race weekend.
Nice. And when is race weekend? Did you already say?
October 16th is the actual Sunday, I think.
Okay.
So ours, I think, takes place on the 14th, Friday the 14th of October. Yeah, the 14th of October, midnight at Niagara. So people coming in, we'll probably organize rides for out-of-towners to get to the falls for midnight. Anyone that wants to kick off the race, and people that want to jump in later in the race can do that. It's not even a race, it's a vibe, to be honest.
Mark your calendars, y'all.
Yeah, 12-hour
come through.
12-hour party just to kick off that race. Yeah.
Ian's like, you're speaking my language.
Yes, let's go.
And we'll have some kind of thing, like if the t-shirt will have all the crews on it. So it shows that it's repping everybody, because that's what Escape is really set out to do. Shake it up.
I love that.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
So, all right. So you're also a Lululemon ambassador. Like what's all that about? What are you doing with them?
It's different for all the ambassadors, I'd imagine.
Also, how did you manage to be an ambassador for Lululemon, but also work with CL?
Okay, so the nice thing about CL is they're one of these brands that plays really nice in the sandbox with all brands.
That's dope.
It's dope. Like they don't really, I don't think, and at least not yet, pose too much of a problem. They're also very specific. Like they've started to branch out into shoes and athletic gear, but their real bread and butter are their dope ass hats.
Right.
Yeah. So they're the one brand that everyone just kind of like plays nicely with. So it's never, CLA has never been an issue. Also, Lulu's they're not too sedity with that stuff, to be honest, at least in my experience. I mean, I'm loyal to the brand for all the opportunities that they've thrown my way. They do a lot here, at least, but I see in Chicago too. They do a lot in community spaces. They put a lot of money and energy and resources into community spaces, which isn't not a lot of brands do as much. So yeah, I mean, aside from having a lot of stretchy clothes,
them garments, bro. That Lulu shit, garments, bro.
Feels nice.
It's crazy.
It's soft as butter, man.
It's slick. But the best part is really that I get to work with a lot of cool people.
Yeah.
Right? And meet a lot of cool people. I met Kofi through that avenue. Liz, right, who was a part of the project.
Yeah, the Chicago Lulu team is amazing. I love them through and through.
Kayla, right? Like, to me, over and above the gear, which is wonderful, it's the people.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what it needs to be. If you're going to have a partnership, be an ambassador for any brand, it's like you need to actually rock with them, because otherwise it just feels transactional.
It's transactional.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, man. I'm not an influencer. Like I'm not. Like I'm.
You
not,
are though. You are.
Whole time.
You're an influential
okay, 2
person.
Chainz. I'm not a role model.
You're a person of influence.
I don't like the word. See, here's the thing.
A person of influence.
It sounds like you're influencing someone. Like I want them to do what I want them to do. I would rather inspire people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to do whatever you want to do in your circle. I get that if I wear something, people might wear it, or if I do something, or if I advertise something, but I'm the worst at that stuff too, because truthfully, I'm so busy in the spaces in real life and then driving off. And then I got the kids. And then by the time the photos come through and I get around to posting it, the thing's a week already done.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people who in the moment would stop and like, oh, God, I post this and throw it up. Like you'll see me tagged and stuff because I'm in it. I'm in it, like physically in it, because I always put the priority in the physical space. And then, a week or so later, I'm like, oh, shoot, I got to look at my post. It'd be like last week, May 5th, we did this. Because why? Because right after we were done Fewer Roads, I was driving people home. And then I was running late, and then I had to get dinner ready, and then I had to get my workout in. And then so by the time I actually get around to like circling back, I can't even repost half the stuff because it's already past 24 hours.
Yeah.
Right.
Influencer in that sense, in that like, I don't exist in that plane.
You don't.
I mean, you're not an IG influencer, but you are a person of influence and people respect you. And I think that that's really important, because the things that you do, people pay attention to, and you're making moves. And so it's like, even though you're not pushing people to do anything, you are influencing people to live healthier lifestyles. Like you're influencing people to like prioritize their longevity. And that's, I think, something that all of us do here, that like really care about running and really care about community building.
I love that, man. I agree with that for sure.
Folks just don't want to be called an ice cream cake. He a tiramisu. Like,
you know
what I'm saying? Like,
he said, I do this shit, okay?
On me for a second, man. So cool. But you know what you said is true, because when you look at Gumbo, you look at 7 on Sundays, and I've been making this distinction a lot in the last year, where people come in to use community. It's this catchphrase: community, building community, building community. And I'll step in and be like, drawing a clear line between an event and community. An event happens and community can come and then it disappears and it's gone. You want to do an event, get some food, get a location, people will come. A community is a space that people can rely on. It's a space that people can slowly approach and come to, and they trust it and they find safety there. And you're not going to create that space if it pops up once and it's gone. It's something you do. In order to rely on something, it's got to be there. So for people that are creating those spaces, you got to have commitment. You got to say, this isn't a one-time thing. We're committed to being here every week.
It's consistency.
We're committed to that consistency.
Yeah.
And the consistency is what, to me, that investment, that investment is what creates real, genuine community, because you, Courtney, you, Ian, Aaron, you showing up, it's like, to me, I always think of it like hopscotch. You're spinning the rope and some people are quick to jump in and they're already jumping. But a lot of people are just standing on the edge and they get close and then they back away. And then they get a little closer and then they back away because they're nervous. And all the while, some people are running in, jumping, but we keep the rope spinning.
Right. It's always there, inviting people to hop in.
It's always there. And it may not be this time, it may not be next time, but as long as those ropes are spinning, those people are going to eventually get pulled in. They're going to get pulled in and they're going to do it. And that's like my goal, is just keep those ropes spinning. Wherever you're at, keep them spinning. And that's what people like you, Courtney, Ian, Aaron, like all the people that I look up to, I see them out there spinning the rope. And sometimes there's no one in there. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference. Sometimes there's nobody in there skipping, but you're still spinning the rope. Why? Because you're creating that space.
Yeah, I'm using that. I'm taking that. I'm using that. That was beautiful. That was amazing. That was poetic.
Yeah, next thing you know, Quinn's about to come out with a book. You know what I mean?
Right. Called Hot Scotch.
Okay, with these words.
Yeah, it's trademark that right now. Hot Scotch.
Right.
I love it. I love it.
I'm having a blast, man. I really am. And I love the people that I'm meeting. I love that I got to connect with you guys even through this journey. And I also know secretly that's like just scratching the surface.
Oh, for sure.
Just scratching.
Someone literally the other day told me, they're like, you've taken running like as far as it can go. Someone who's not in running. Because from an outside perspective, people have no idea that there's just this vast opportunity here that's like never ending. It's infinite. It's infinite in the sense that like you could literally take it anywhere. Yeah. And even with like Ian and I doing this podcast and seeing where the opportunities are coming from this, and then it's just like, we never started this thinking like, oh, then we're going to do that. And then we're going to capitalize on this. And it's like, it just unfolds. And it's actually really mind blowing to see the way that like opportunities continuously come up and then have taken us into new directions within running. Cause it's like, this isn't even part of it. It's, to your point, it's just scratching the surface because there's so much more that can be done. And on top of that, as we age, that's just going to get more and more powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, Courtney, do you remember your first 5K?
I haven't done a 5K.
10K.
Like running wise? Yeah. Like, but
For the first time you ran 10K, like at that point, it was the finish line. It was the ultimate. It was the top of the mountain.
Right.
And then you get there, and next thing you know, you're like, what's this half marathon thing these guys are talking about? And then next thing you know, you're standing up. And then next thing you know, you're like, even the marathon, as all encompassing, it's got its own name. It's like already, it's just said.
That's not even the ceiling.
It's not.
Ultras.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. My Zach Sweets and Rosalie from 7 on Sundays just did Ice Age, the 50 miler, this past weekend.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, I never, you could just keep going. And then again, if you take away, that's just as an individual, how far can you go alone? Don't even talk to me about how far you can go collectively.
Yeah, it's a different conversation.
It's infinite, like you said, Courtney. It's infinite. And it's beautiful for that reason, because it will continue to be there to grow with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's really interesting because, like, even I was listening to you earlier when you were saying how, you know, you have your day job and you show up with the running and stuff like that. So it's not your career and whatnot. And, you know, it made me think about myself, like, this is slowly becoming my career. When I started this, when I started 7 on Sundays, I was working at Nike. When 7 on Sundays had its growth, I was somewhere between working at a rail yard or delivering food and stuff like that. But now here I am today with the running store, you know, with this podcast, with 7 on Sundays, you know, becoming like a legitimate organization and stuff like that. And it is slowly becoming a career choice for me. And I never thought that I would be in the world of sport in this way and be able to influence and impact runners and the community that I live in the way that we do. And it's been amazing. And it's like, even still with that, where I'm focusing on the community and I'm doing my part, playing my part. But then now also, because it is becoming a career choice, looking at certain avenues and directions to go as far as a career choice, like, it's just opened up running and sport even so much more. And I was like, no idea that I could do this. No idea that this could be a route for me, you know?
Your timing was impeccable. I think what you guys started I stumbled on you when I did it. You guys were already at it, but like, even the growth that I've seen in the last couple of years from you guys, and not even just numbers, like just genuine impact, people that live and breathe the space that you provided. man, it's really amazing, man. And anything that, other runners or people can do to touch it, be a part of it, is really inspiring to me.
Yeah. Not all three of us would be nowhere without these people who trust and believe in us and show up to these runs, these events, these community gatherings, whatever we do. Like they make all of this possible, and I'm super grateful personally.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, man, I can't. You guys got me missing Chicago. Yeah, I just got back.
Come through. Come on, come back. And next time, hit us up.
Yeah, I will. You know what? The funny thing about it is I kept so quiet the first couple of days because I really wanted to surprise 7 on Sundays.
Right.
I really wanted to. So I
think you came the weekend of my birthday.
I did. That's why you guys were rocking out the night.
I could not get out of my bed.
Yeah, he wasn't there.
You should have said something because I would have wanted you to come to my birthday.
Yeah.
But dude, like Karen, she got up. She's like, babe, I'm finna go for this run. I couldn't even say bye, bro. I was dead. I was dead.
That's okay. When I heard that, I was like, that's okay. That's like probably the only excuse I could have taken. Like anything else I had to answer for. As soon as they said that, I was like, okay.
Man, had I been there with him, I'd been like, bring folks to the house, man. Bring them to the house. I'll make us some pancakes.
Yeah.
Post-run recovery.
So what do you guys have lined up for this year? Like, what are you guys excited for this year? Aside from Toronto in October.
Oh, yeah. It's happening. We're doing it. You said October? I got to retype this text. I just text Karen.
Yeah, you said weekend of the 14th. Yeah, I had to write that down. I'm going to bring it back, see how people feel about it.
Yeah. But what else you guys got lined up?
Oh, we got things, baby. We got things. Listen. Hey, I'm finna... Aaron, I'm sorry. But listen, we got the unsanctioned summer coming, okay?
Okay.
Like we got races, we got partnership with other races who be doing races all over the place.
Okay.
So they be coming here, you know what I'm saying? I can't say no names yet.
Okay.
But okay. 7 on Sundays has a really fun and eventful summer for runners to come and enjoy. And it's very mindful for the people who's participating in marathon training and stuff like that. We got some team community building events coming up and stuff like that. And so, the runners are important. We're doing these things for the runners, but I do want to say here that anybody who's listening who see our events and might say to themselves, I can't do that. We still would love for you to come out and cheer the runners on who say they can do that and want to give it a shot, because your energies at this race is just as important as every step that these runners take while they are out there. So if you don't buy a ticket to participate, that's super cool. Come and enjoy the vibes. That's my biggest thing for this summer in 7 on Sundays program.
Facts. Oh, by the way, we'll be there for Chicago. In October. That's the week before our thing. We'll be with you guys.
Yeah.
We're coming out.
I'm flying back with you.
Yeah.
I know, right? Right. We'll just hop on over. I know for Gumbo Fit, within the pandemic, we put on 8 races in 6 months. And so we did everything from a half marathon to a full marathon. We did 5Ks, and it was out in forest preserves. It was extremely COVID conscious and safe. And so that was that was our way of giving to the community an opportunity to actually come out and be amongst other people. Because even, during the pandemic, when we took a break and then came back and we realized just how important, it was just a moment of we knew this was important, but it's like people's once a week community hour, right? It's like social hour. And so, from there, and because I know you're really familiar with 7 on Sundays, and so I'm just kind of for background. From there, once we were able to have a marathon program, last year we trained 35 runners to run the marathon, which was great. And then this year, instead of doing that, we're kind of okay, how can we take a step back and identify upcoming leaders in this running community so that we can empower them to also maybe start their own run clubs or their own communities in their own way? Because we don't. For me, it's not so much of Gumbo Fit is just a run club. It's a fitness initiative with running as a pillar. And so there can be an expansion beyond that. And so looking at what that can be and starting first at like, okay, we've created a platform, we've cultivated this community, but then it's like, who in this community can take the reins and go on, and do their own thing? Because at the end of the day, I'm evolving as a runner, as a leader, and I can't do everything that I used to do all the time. And I love switching it up and trying new things. My biggest thing is like, I don't really like doing the same thing I did last year. And so right now we have an accelerator program and just allowing people to like experience leading a run club, leading a fitness initiative through Gumbo Fit. And then beyond that, we're going to be dabbling in more track things, but we're in a phase of like slowing down in a sense to then prepare for a larger expansion. Because the last like year and a half, we really went ham on like curating all the things. And so I'm excited to see what 7 on Sundays does in providing like these opportunities. Cause like, I'm not putting together a race this year. And it's like, maybe I'll come out, next year and do something, but I'm also at a place where like, there's a level of like curation that I really want to be present as well, because Gumbo Fit is a part of Gumbo Media, and it's a much larger entity. And so I'm thinking about it on a variety of levels. But as far as the fitness goes, I'm just really trying to like uplift other people and just kind of like see how everybody else is doing this year and like provide space and make sure that everybody feels welcomed in all communities, not just like taking ownership of like, oh, this is Gumbo Fit people. It's like, I think Chicago is a city where the run clubs really mingle within themselves in a different way than other cities. And so like when one is pulling back, the other one will kind of fill space, and it kind of goes back and forth like that. And we really support each other. So I think it's all working in harmony.
It looks like that.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like Chicago's just one big crew with all these little like subsections. Like everyone just vibes out.
Yeah.
It's one of the things you said like resonated, because you sort of step back and say like, I don't want Gumbo Fit just to be this entity that we created, like listening to what people need and want, and like that's, to me, building community is just as much creating the space as listening to what's needed in the space, right?
Yeah.
That'd be the equivalent of like changing how fast or slow you turn those ropes, right? What does that person need to get in? And if you're just always like, this is the speed, that person may never get in, right? If Gumbo's always super fast. So it's good to say, okay, well, what does our city need? What do our people need, right? You said they needed events. Yeah, because it was COVID and people needed those opportunities. But now you can pause and say, okay, what's needed now? And in the meantime, Ian can step in with Aaron and these guys can be like, okay, we got this right now. Take a breather. And like that listening aspect is huge.
Yeah.
I think our first race, I was thinking about our episode count and how we drop episodes. So I want to say that I could say this because this episode won't come out for another, 2 weeks maybe? But
hopefully it'll come out next week.
Oh my God. Okay, well then I'm sorry. But anyway.
Our turnover is pretty quick.
Yeah, our first race for the summer is like a wild ass 2-mile race. It's an open 2 miles for men, open 2 miles for women, and then it culminates with the team medley, relays, and it's on the south side. I'm not going to say where here, but it's on the south side. It's going to highlight a part of the south side that we don't explore too often. It's because it's in a place where everybody is familiar with, but then it goes to a place where you might not have known, because I didn't even know this was over there. And so it's going to be really fun. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be in line. I just realized that Juneteenth is Father's Day, so shifting the dates around a little bit, but it's going to be in celebration of our people and our community and stuff like that. So just fun vibes. And then for last lap, we got some beautiful marathon-centered activities going on for the summer, just trying to support our runners who are training for the Chicago Marathon with some weekly runs and stuff like that. Because, between Gumbo, league of their own, through Run 2, Heartbreak. All of them have so much of the marathon training down packed with the long runs, the track workouts, all of that stuff. Last Lap is just slide in there to help you out with some of that supplemental things that you need to get through this in a very healthy way and stuff like that. So we have a couple of events and weekly runs for our marathon runners and people who just want to just get into it,
Yeah. Because I think at the end of the day, the biggest thing, the most important aspect is our weekly engagement.
Yeah.
Like the races are fun, but then it's like everybody still wants to come together. Like for y'all, it's Tuesdays and Sundays. For us, it's Saturdays. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like that's what really matters.
It's what they bank on. It's what they count on. It's always there for them, right?
Yeah.
They rely on it. So provide it. Man, I catch FOMO all the time. I know a bunch of us see what you guys are doing down there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we really appreciate you joining us. And hopefully next time you're in Chicago, we can at least grab a beer or something.
I won't be sneaky. I won't be sneaky next time, I promise.
No, dude, sometimes, look, I'm not, sometimes it's necessary to sneak through a city. I do it too. You're not trying to let everybody know because it's that's a lot of energy. But, when you feel it, we'll be here.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Next time for sure. Right out the gates. I'm coming at you.
Amazing.
Man, appreciate you. Thank you, bro. I'm gonna let you get back to the rest of your day, all of the planning you're doing. I mean, I don't know what you're building out there, nuclear bombs, clean energy.
Right. He just said his job title. He didn't go into details. He said, I work in a nuclear
we work in nuclear
situation.
I'm just going to drop that shit. I love it, bro.
Man.
All right.
Yeah, big love, man. Love you guys. And I'll see you soon for sure. No doubt.
Peace, bro.
Peace.
All right, man.
That was a great interview. I really appreciate Quinton.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. New guy, Quinton. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, what him and his 6 homies are doing out in Toronto and, coming over here across the border, it's it's amazing. I can't wait to go out there and really soak in that love and soak in that energy. Aaron has talked up Toronto pre all of this running stuff. So he loves the city. He talks it up. I've been wanting to go. You feel me? Shouts out to Remy. What's good, Remy?
I took her on that 3-mile run thinking that she'd be knocked out. I mean, she basically was knocked out for the entire interview. And then
she
likes to act up. She likes that.
You still record? Are you done yet?
He said, who talking right now?
All right. I love it. Yeah. I love it. But before we hopped on, when you talked about the fact that you went for a run, how do you feel after this run?
I feel really good. And you know what? I've been I feel like, let me know if I didn't, but I feel like I've been talking to you about just me diving deeper into my recovery more and paying more attention to taking Epsom salt baths more often, and giving massages more often and just simply taking it slow. And so I started with a run walk. And I've been doing and that's also been a really good way to bring Remy into running with me because we have her in very very strict training. I don't play with her. And so, because you know what I mean? And I think, and two, I'm a believer that dogs need purpose and that's how you get a quote unquote well-behaved dog. Because when you have a dog that is barking and reactive, usually they don't have a purpose and their owner is not telling them what they need to be doing. That's another conversation. But, so with her doing a run walk, obviously her endurance is, she's a dog, so she can do whatever, but you still have to build endurance on a dog. So us kind of building that up together has really been really great. The first couple of times that I went out on a run with her, it was different. My knee was acting up a little bit, and so I would walk, which that's what, but I was able to get through this run basically the entire way. And I maybe stop one time just to kind of see how she's doing, but it was really great. I don't have any pain. I'm I'm actually really feeling really well. And I've been stretching more and I've just been paying attention. I think what it is just I need to pay more attention to my lower back and my posture in my lower back. Cause I kind of break and hunch over a little bit. And so, even when I'm sitting, so just regular stretching and being innovative with the way I'm stretching and just conscious of my body, I think has gotten me to this place because I honestly was in a state of mind where I was like, damn, I'm not going to be able to run like all year.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm out. Like, I'm out. You might as well just count me out of everything.
Just count me out. I'll be there cheering.
I'll be there cheering, speaking, you know what I mean? You know? Supporting.
I love it. Are we also going to talk about this swimwear photo shoot that you did?
Oh, see, look, okay. See now.
What was this?
Okay.
What was this? So he wasn't ready because you posted, you was in the locker room, you posted like, oh, this is the little swimsuit I've been talking about. I'm going to go do some laps. And then a couple of days later, these slaps towards a photo shoot. This underwater with it. You got the photographer getting you under the wave. Like, what's going on? What is this about?
It just happened that I got those photos around the same time that I got my swimsuit. So I was like, because I did the photo shoot with Olivia Wolf, like because I was wearing sportswear, like dry fit. You know, I would wear a sports bra and just like some shorts because like Picasso put me on. He was like, look, if you don't got a swimsuit, just put some dry fit on. I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to do that. And then, then I realized like I need motivation. I like to look cute when I'm active. It gives me the motivation I need to like, first of all, get out the door and then also to finish. And so I was just browsing the Nike app because no, they did not send it to me. Everybody thinks that they just sent it to me. It's like, no, I spent my money and I bought that swimsuit. And so I just was like, oh, this is cute. Because I tried getting a Speedo off of Amazon and that shit was too small because swimsuit like one pieces for women and ladies, I know you can relate. Like if you've ever bought like a one piece, like active swimsuit, most of them run like 3 sizes too small. So even when you think you're getting the right size, you need to go like up a size.
Because they were racing.
And they're tight as shit. Yeah. And so I'm like, Jesus Christ. Yeah. So I went on Nike and got a medium and then it fits perfectly. And I was like, it's cute. It's black with the little white situation, you know?
Shit,
yeah. It's cute, you know?
Like, she did not go get her photographer to debut the swimsuit. Like, what the fuck? She's doing a lot right now.
Right. Like, you're doing the fucking most. Yeah. Yeah, no, I like to look cute in movement. Like, I don't care. Like, I really need to look good. And it's also like, I feel like it motivates other people around me. Cause as soon as I put it on, like the other ladies in the locker room were like, that's a cute suit. And I was like, thank you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I appreciate that.
What are we doing? Are we swimming laps? We getting laps? What are we doing?
So look, yes, all of those things. I have a kickboard now and I have the floating device that goes like in between your legs that has like, an indent thing. So I've been doing that. The peanut, that's what it's called. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Well, so funny story though, is because I was getting it. Like I was doing laps actually, like, cause when I first was kind of getting into the pool again, I was kind of doing more running in the pool just to get back into that motion. And now like I'm really using it to just like get laps in, and the floating devices help a lot with just targeting my upper body and then just targeting my lower body. I don't know what just happened to my mic, but I feel like it just got better. You hear that?
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, that's crazy. So I've been able to really like get targeted with it. And then it just I feel like swimming, as much as it is a workout, it also feels like recovery, because then I can hop in the hot tub and then I can hop in the sauna, and it's like, it's relaxing. And then so then after all of that, I am about to leave. No, when I was swimming, I saw Aaron walk in and I was like, oh, Aaron's here. So I like waved him through the window. Yeah. And then I hopped out and he was there with Simeon.
Oh, dope.
Yeah. And so I was like, what's up, y'all? And so but Aaron said that he's not a good swimmer. And I'm like, you need to help him. You need to help him. You know what I mean? Help your friend out. Yeah, Aaron. He said he would love to go swimming, but you're a whole lifeguard. Like, you know how to. I feel like you should be championing that for the Swim on Sundays.
We'll do swim lessons for pizza. So like, let's go.
for pizza with what is it? Shrimp and
jalapenos. It's like this. You know where to get it. Don't show up unless you got it.
Don't play no games.
I need my payment up front.
Right. So, swimming is working for me, and I'm going to just keep doing it. And then eventually, once I get my bike fixed, I'm going to hop on that mug and also be biking.
When you pull up.
You know what I mean?
Pull up so we can wrap these bars, man. Put the seat on. Like, let's go.
I need to get my tire fixed first.
What's wrong with your tire?
It's flat. Like both of them are flat. And I don't have a seat cover.
Don't fit?
Yeah, no, the inner tubes I think are just like, I think there's a hole in them or something. Like it's just, even when I had air added and then they went flat again. So.
Oh, okay. Bruh.
I told you, Ian, I just need you to fix it. I need you to fix it. Also, my bike was in your shop for the longest and you wasn't helping.
I didn't know there was nothing wrong with it. Like, I thought you was just, I thought that you was getting it fixed by the bike shop. Listen, what I'm saying now is, this is what we'll do. You need a bike seat or a bike cover? Like, what does that mean?
I have a seat and I need the cushion. It's just a piece of metal. It's like a metal seat. And I need like something to wrap around it.
You just need a bike seat. Okay.
But I don't need, I have the seat. I have the metal portion of the seat.
I don't even know if they sell it like that.
You put like a little thing on. You can literally buy them off Amazon.
Okay. Well, then that's what I was about to say. Listen, I can put your tires on. All you need is inner tube and tires. Your joint's probably a 700cc from the same place you can get the Amazon. 700cc. I'm going to send you the link. 700cc.
I don't trust it.
Times 25. Why don't you trust it?
Because if I buy it and it's not correct, it's going to be a whole situation.
Okay. I mean,
send me the link then, Ian.
Bro. You got a road bike, bro. I put tires on my bike, put tires on my son's bike. We talking about tires. I mean, you can go down to the people, but when you going to go? Because I'm right around the corner. I can do it.
Fine.
We can sit there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We can do it. Wrap your little handlebars. Put your seat on. Let's go. I'm just trying to help you get riding. And that's it. Like, if
I appreciate that.
A new chain, I can't do that. Like, you want to go get the other people to do that.
Yeah. I feel like everything that I've mentioned, you can do, so we can make it happen.
Yeah. It take maybe an hour or less.
Perfect.
All right, y'all. So on the next episode, we'll see if Courtney has a bike.
Right. Yeah, we'll see. Man, there's only so many things I can do in a week. I'd be feeling like weeks are just so short these days.
They are. They're going by dumb fast. And
like speed of lightning.
I'm happy, but also like slow down.
Yeah.
Slow down just a little
Summer's
bit.
approaching. It's cute. This weather right now is honestly my favorite. This is my favorite time of year in Chicago.
I think this might be spring.
I mean, yeah. Well, the thing is summer doesn't start till June. Like summer solstice is the longest day of the year. And I think that's the beginning of summer. And then every day after that, the days get shorter and shorter and shorter. It's actually really sad.
Okay. Thank you for that.
These are the longest days of the year right now.
I'm enjoying it.
And it's coming to an end.
I'm enjoying it. I've been out here. I actually replaced the chain on my bike because it was really old and it finally snapped on me. And so I replaced it.
Whoa. Back up, because we also were at Active Campaign and you were riding your bike to that because we were asked to speak to their employees about running, their coworkers about running, which is also really great. But yeah, my man's whole bike just decided to stop working.
I thought I was going to get up, leave out early, enjoy a nice little bike ride to this speaking engagement downtown. And I get to 35th and King Drive and my bike chain was like, bro, I've been telling you this entire time. I'm done. So I'm stopping. And so I had to catch the bus with this black ass hand from oil on my chain and stuff like that. And then I get to the office, right? 20 minutes after I planned on getting there. I get there and I realize, and you left your bike lock at home. So I try to bring my bike up to the office. The woman at the front desk was like, "Oh no, the owner's in the building. That's not going to happen." And so I had to support it. Yeah, she did not support it. So I was like, okay. So I had to take my bike to Target, into Target, to the second floor of Target, into the self-checkout line, so I can get this freaking bike lock. And then
meanwhile, I'm FaceTiming him talking about, hey friend, you okay? You all right? You okay?
And mind you, the funny thing is like, what? I ended up being late, but you didn't even know what's happening.
Look, don't put me on blast like that. We're not talking about me, okay? Nobody decided to send a calendar invite. I don't understand that. If you're gonna invite me to something, put it in my calendar. Like, I know I can do it too, which I was planning on doing, but also I was just like, this whole time, these people go email me and not continuously put like, I'm like, what? Don't you want to make sure that I'm going to the right place? Like, I don't know.
Cody called me for our weekly meeting. Yeah. Like, Ian, what you doing? I was like, I'm getting out the shower. You know, we got to be there at 11. Where?
I'm like, where are we going? Where are we going?
Well, she was there 30 minutes before me. She was on it, y'all. She was on it, had the outfit and everything.
I was trying. And you know, it was cute. I made a little reel. It was nice. It all worked out the way it was supposed to.
Yes, it did. With me looking like a damn fool.
Nah. All the people on Zoom never knew.
Listen, it was beautiful. Yeah. We had some people on the Zoom from Dublin, Sydney, and whatnot. We had some really good questions that they asked us. And it was just really fun to be in that beautiful office, man. Yeah. You know, it was really cool. And it was hosted by the father's group, because I guess in the office they have like a group of dads and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it was really fun to have a conversation with them.
Active dads.
Yeah. So shouts out to Active Campaign for pulling up with us. So yeah, they do like CRM software and stuff like that. So it was really cool to speak with them.
Yeah. Awesome.
But I'm done. I'm talk about, update is I need some fucking coffee right now.
You know what?
On my way out.
My update is I'm not drinking caffeine.
Why not?
It's just like a little situation that I'm trying out.
She's trying to get pregnant, y'all. Like,
no, I'm honestly trying to. I'm honestly just. Don't come for me, Ian. I'm just really
fuck up with your cycle. I know. I get it.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It just fucks with my mind and my performance and like the way I show up to work. And I'm also just like, do I need it? What happens if I don't have caffeine? Like, really trying to figure out what that situation is. So
that's real. Oh my God. Okay, yeah. I'm staying on your good side for at least 21 days. Bro.
I'm good. I'm like experimenting. What happens when it's been going on for about a week now, week and a half. And so far it's been fine. Like I don't drink. I'm not the type of person that has ever been like, I'm waking up and I need coffee, but I do wake up and have like tea, lots of tea. And then Matthew and I use coffee as like a treat that we have on the weekends, but it's different. I had a chai yesterday. I wouldn't call it cheating. I would just say I was at a coffee shop and I was just like, that's it. I had a chai latte, which has black tea in it, which has caffeine. Yeah. But I hadn't gotten the entire week and a half with
you stepping away from.
I'm stepping away from a constant. Or you
just stepping away from having it daily?
I'm stepping away from having it daily.
There we go.
Okay, thank you.
I like that. You know, give yourself some grace.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I'm here for it. Keep it up. I don't have it daily. I do my best because there are some times where like I get into the mood and I've had coffee every day for a week.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I mostly only have coffee when I'm with Karen. I just kind of like slide in on her Starbucks addiction and I'm able to ride that wave when I'm with her. I don't know what's going to happen when we start living together, but as of right now, like that's the only time I really have coffee.
Y'all going to get a Nestle, Nespresso.
An espresso? No, you know, she can't.
Nespresso.
A Nespresso, what's that?
It's like I think it's from Nestle, but it's like an espresso machine. It's a coffee machine, and it's like it's like a Keurig but better.
Yeah, but she only do decaf.
So what is the absolute point of that?
She can't. She said she can't. She's like caffeine is too much. It turns up way too much. She moves a mile a minute.
Oh well, so she likes the flavor of coffee.
She also gets addicted to it.
So she just likes the flavor of it.
Yeah, that's how she drinking coffee for play.
For fun.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm like, nigga, I need an extra.
Coffee.
I need an extra espresso. You know
right now,
I'm not feeling this. I need more.
Put it in my veins.
Yes. But I love it. Keep it up. More power to you. I know, you know what I'm saying? It's a journey. But if you ever feel weak, I'll be your sponsor. Just give me a call. And,
Wonderful.
We'll talk through it. What is making you feel like you need to go back to coffee right now, Courtney?
Explain.
I love it.
All right, y'all. Well, there's another episode for you. Hopefully you enjoyed your run, your walk, your whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe you have us up on your YouTube. And if you do, extra kudos to you. Here's your flowers.
Also, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Let us know how you really feel. But if it's bad, just keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Peace and love to you. Yeah. All right. Peace.